Cancer, if I told you that the 6 numbers you're about to hear could open the gate to a billion-dollar blessing, would you let yourself believe it? This isn't only about money. It's about a sacred timing, a hidden inheritance, a current of abundance, moving through your depths, your emotional security, and the quiet comfort of your soul beginning right now. You didn't land on this message by coincidence. Something nurturing and ancient has been guiding you here. Maybe it was a soft tug in your heart, a breath held longer than usual, or a gentle whisper rising from the wellspring of your own being. However you arrived, know this. You were meant to find this space. From October 5th to October 10th, the skies tilt open in a rare alignment made for you. As your ruling planet, the moon, moves through Pisces, your intuitive depths stir awake like a tide drawn inward. Venus bends into a sacred meeting with Pluto, deepening emotional renewal, sharpening your sense of true worth, and yes, inviting material blessings that match your gentle spirit. Jupiter forms a harmonious aspect, with the moon adding the final note. Real wealth, both tangible and unseen, is not chased. It grows from resonance, like a deep, well-drawing nourishment, unseen. And right now, Cancer, your energy hums in perfect rhythm with divine reward. These 6 numbers are not random scraps. They've been laid across your path like keys cut from your own journey, each one vibrating with the echo of your healing, your quiet transformations, and the prayers you've released into the night. These are not lucky numbers. They are destiny codes. Let that truth rest in you for a breath. When you clear space within, when old burdens loosen, and you tune to the still pulse inside, rather than the noise outside, you draw to yourself what has always been waiting. The numbers you're about to hear aren't here to puff your ego. They're here to plant the future you're ready to live. Cancer, I invite you to stay present not only with your thoughts, but with the slow living rhythm of your spirit. If any of these numbers stir your chest, awaken an echo, or feel strangely familiar, write them in the comments. That's how you root the energy. That's how you tell the universe, I am ready. Your words carry weight. Speak them. And while we share this moment, let me pause to thank you. Your presence here holds more power than you may realize. Every like, every comment, every share, every subscription not only strengthens this circle of miracles, but carries these messages of hope to others who may have needed what you're hearing today. Your support is what keeps this flow of spirit alive. So thank you truly, and I urge you to stay with me until the very end of this message, because what the universe, and yes, what God is preparing to reveal for your life, is not only unexpected, it is nothing short of extraordinary. These 6 numbers are far more than digits. They are signals, and the one meant for you has been walking beside you quietly. Will you know it when it comes close? Now, Cancer, breathe deeply. Settle your body and open your spirit to receive, because your breakthrough may be just 1 number away. Cancer, as you're already leaning into the language of symbols, vibrations, and divine rhythm, we now step gently into the first number, number 34. And as we speak it aloud, I want you to notice how this isn't just a number, not just a code, but a clear reflective pool that quietly holds everything you've been healing, carrying, and quietly wishing for in the hidden hours of your life. The energy of 34 doesn't arrive with noise or spectacle. It settles in like a calm breeze at the end of a long day. And within that stillness, it carries the steady hum of prosperity. Not showy, not rushed, but rooted, trustworthy, and quietly well-earned. In numerology and the language of vibration, 34 is formed by the expressive number 3 and the anchoring number 4. The 3 brings emotional fluidity, intuitive creativity, and expansion from the heart. 4 offers the counterbalance, rhythm, grounding, reliability, a foundation strong enough to carry dreams into form. Together, they create a vibration of abundance that endures, but only when your mind is clear and your emotional field is at peace. Because true prosperity doesn't land in chaos. It leans toward presence. And in this moment of your journey, 34 is the echo that reminds you the more you cultivate inner steadiness, the more the outer world begins to mirror it. It can be tempting, especially for a sign like Cancer, who often feels deeply and protects intensely, to believe that nurturing others is always enough, or that remaining in your emotional shell keeps you safe. That if you're not constantly tending to needs or holding everything together, you might lose connection. But 34 carries a different kind of knowing. It's the wisdom that some of life's most powerful breakthroughs arrive in complete stillness. That when you begin to release the noise, the looping thoughts, the guilt you've worn too long, the subtle weight of never feeling quite enough, you finally make space for blessings and connections that want to stay. This number becomes especially powerful in seasons of internal reset. Maybe you've noticed lately that your tolerance for imbalance is shrinking, that you've started saying no with more ease, not from defensiveness, but out of deep respect for your own peace. That sleep feels sacred again, and silence isn't empty but full. That's not random. That's 34 doing its quiet work. This number is guiding you to cleanse your emotional field, not with quick fix rituals or trendy resets, but through a slow and honest conversation with your own truth. The kind that asks, what am I actually feeling right now? Whose belief is shaping this thought? Is this fear part of my past or a false glimpse of my future? In energy, healing, and therapeutic practice, we often say your nervous system is the first gatekeeper of abundance. If your body stays locked in tension or panic, it will quietly block the very gifts you're reaching for. Why? Because your system doesn't believe it's safe to receive. That's why something as simple as a steady breath, a calm decision, or a soft bedtime ritual can sometimes shift your finances more than any budgeting app ever could. And if lately you felt waves of restlessness or nights where sleep slips away, know this. You are not failing. You are simply in a threshold. And in that liminal space, 34 stands beside you like a lantern. One of the most grounding things you can do is return to your breath, not as performance, but as quiet devotion. Breathe in light. Let go of fear. Breathe in steadiness. Exhale what you've been holding too long. This isn't just breath work. It's a reset for your entire field. It's abundance calling you back into alignment. And maybe without even realizing it, you've been drawn to journal more often, or you felt that subtle nudge to begin again. Let this be your green light. Let your journal become a gentle container, a safe place where your strongest emotions can land without needing to make sense. Emotional clarity isn't about being fearless. It's about allowing yourself to feel everything with kindness and letting it move through you without shame. Cancer 34 is a number that blesses those who slow down enough to listen. It recognizes the strength of those who don't chase what they want, but prepare space for it to arrive. The jackpot you're searching for isn't printed on a ticket. It's cradled inside the peace you're learning to protect. And when that peace becomes your foundation, you'll be surprised how naturally everything else begins to rise up to meet it. So stay close. The next number is already drawing near. As we move from the quiet-rooted grounding of number 34, we now step into the soft golden glow of number 06. A vibration that doesn't just bless but listens and responds. Where 34 asks you to protect your peace, 06 wonders gently. And now that peace has arrived, how will you tend to it? This is not the energy of striving or forced ambition, but the rhythm of a life moved by trust, by intention, and by open-hearted design. In the ancient clockwork of time, 6 was seen as the arc of completion. 6 days to build the world's foundation before the 7th was given to rest. But those 6 days weren't hurried. Each one unfolded with care, order, and quiet meaning. And this is where number 06 transforms from mere number to a deeper pattern for how abundance wants to move through your life. This number emerges in your field when your motivation begins to shift, not from fear or proving, but from belief. Not from lack, but from quiet surrender. It speaks to blessings that don't come through overexerting, but through honest alignment with yourself, with truth, with love. In vibrational language, 06 holds a resonance of harmony, service, and soulful responsibility. Not the exhausting kind, but the kind that returns you to what matters most, to what feels genuine, to what is nourishing and true. Have you sensed lately that some things feel lighter, that small acts, when done with clear intention, lift you rather than drain you, that generosity feels like expansion, not sacrifice, that your work matters more, when it's done from the heart, not for the result. 06 encourages you to move from that space, not from the ache of lack, but from the warmth that rises when you're living your values. That's why during this exact window, your most aligned opportunities may come quietly, not from spreadsheets, but from those moments when your heart speaks with more clarity than your logic. From the projects that hold pieces of your story, from the offerings that carry your voice, from the quiet care you give that touches further than you may ever know. These are the places where abundance is circling back to meet you. And yes, that includes financial blessing, because energy follows sincerity more faithfully than it follows effort. Not just where attention goes, but where honest attention lives. So when you give your energy to something real, not to impress, but because you believe in it, the universe notices. That kind of devotion creates return. And even in practical spaces, we see this again and again. People are drawn to truth investors, to purpose clients, to sincerity partners, to inner clarity. You don't need to speak louder. You just need to stand more clearly in your why. In your body, 06 speaks to balance, especially in the realm of the heart. And your cardiovascular system, so often overwhelmed by unspoken stress, begins to heal through trust and stillness. So if you've been feeling chest pressure, sudden fatigue, or rhythms that feel off, pause and ask, where am I still trying to prove I'm enough? And what would shift if I release that weight today? You no longer have to carry everything yourself. 06 is calling you into a slow, sacred restoration. Reclaim your rhythm. Return to your breath. Trade urgency for presence in how you live each day. From this grounded space, miracles don't feel distant. They become visible in the quiet way life begins to soften around you. So take a moment to feel where you're headed. What are you building right now? What are you nourishing? If the answer is something that aligns with your values, then know this. The energy you've given is already on its way back to you, multiplied in kind. When you act from alignment, life responds without hesitation. And it never forgets. As we leave this sacred space of action, shaped by sincerity, we step into a quieter realm. One where your own inner knowing begins to rise with the wisdom of number 47. This number carries a different energy than those that came before it. Where 06 guided you to act from the heart, 47 invites you to turn inward, to listen not with your ears, but with your full presence. Because the guidance you're searching for isn't hidden far away. It's been waiting within you, just beneath the surface. It only needed your trust. The belief that your inner compass isn't broken or too soft to follow, but exact in its own sacred way. In the energetic language of numbers, 47 speaks to strategy led by intuition. It bridges the practical and the soulful, the plan and the knowing, the logic and the quiet nudge that moves deeper than thought. It carries the frequency of the quiet planner, the one who no longer needs external noise to confirm what they already sense. Instead of rushing, they slow down to feel the subtle pause before agreeing to something. The natural ease or resistance that arises in certain places. The way your body leans into a conversation or gently pulls away. These aren't just reactions, they are messages. And Cancer, this has always been your strength. As a water sign, your power lies in your deep emotional attunement. You are sensitive to energies others overlook. You sense the underlying currents, subtle shifts in mood, the unspoken feelings. You catch the nuances beneath words that most never notice. And though this can sometimes make the world feel loud, when you take the time to tune in, your inner truth rarely leads you wrong. The vibration of 47 is here to bring you back to that deep self-trust, not to prove a point, but because second-guessing no longer fits who you are becoming. Financially, this number supports careful, purposeful movement. It won't rush into decisions or chase trends. Instead, it points you toward clear discernment, one that considers both practical steps and the emotional energy behind them. When 47 becomes active in your space, success tends to follow what you do quietly and deliberately. You may feel drawn to journal before making a decision, or to wait for a clear signal, a repeating dream, or a deeper moment of knowing before acting. That's not delay, that's alignment. In matters of wellness, this number draws attention to your digestion and how stress may be interfering with the way your body and spirit process what they are given. You could be eating all the right things, but if anxiety lingers just beneath the surface, your body can't fully receive the nourishment. 47 reminds you to slow down, to eat with awareness, to chew with gratitude, to let your body relax enough to receive not only food but life itself. Because the same truth applies outside the body. When you're always pushing, always preparing for the worst, even blessings meant for you will find it hard to land. Your nervous system and your spirit need to feel safe to open. This number teaches us that real intuition doesn't shout. It doesn't rush or chase approval. It speaks through steady confidence, the kind that grows when you stop guessing and start returning to your center. That's the kind of energy that draws what you need to you without effort. Resources, partners, and clear steps begin to appear not from pressure but from right timing. So if you felt uncertain about which path to take, or whether it's time to act or wait, let this be your permission to pause, not out of fear, but out of respect for your own truth. Write out what you feel. Sit with the quiet and ask not, "What should I do?" but what already feels steady and real. Because once your soul knows, everything else begins to follow: the opportunity, the support, the sense of peace. And so, as we leave the grounded clarity of number 47, shaped by inner guidance, we now enter the powerful shift of number 18, a frequency that never arrives without intention. The energy of this number carries the wisdom of closure and the quiet, grounded strength it takes to release what's already fulfilled its purpose. At first glance, 18 might feel like a pause, a still moment where something gently wraps itself up, but beneath the surface, it isn't about losing anything. It's about creating space for what's next. In the language of energy, the universe doesn't just respond to emptiness. It responds to openness, to the willingness to stop holding tightly to things that no longer serve. That's the invitation 18 brings into your field right now. In both astrology and numerology, this number signals a cycle, completing a chance to clear not just your outer environment, but also the hidden buildup of emotional and financial residue you may not have noticed until now. Maybe you've seen it show up as a project wrapping quietly, a relationship shifting direction, or a source of income beginning to taper off. If these signs have been showing up, don't move into panic. Don't tighten your grip, because 18 doesn't mean something is falling apart. It signals that something better needs space to arrive, unblocked and fully welcomed. That's why in real-world terms, this is the perfect moment to clear out clutter, both symbolic and literal. Go to your wallet, your drawers, even your financial paperwork. Get rid of expired cards, stray receipts, and the mental stories that hum in the background like static. You don't need perfection, only the intention behind the action, which tells the universe, "I'm ready to give this space new meaning." That's how resonance works. Not by waiting passively, but by making room for what's meant to find you. On an emotional level, 18 invites a different kind of release. Not dramatic goodbyes, but quiet forgiveness for what's been carried too long. Not because it was right, but because the weight of it is no longer yours to hold. Old guilt, leftover resentment, or fear you've tucked away. All of it takes up sacred space in your inner field. And when that space is freed, not as avoidance, but as an act of love toward yourself, the room for real abundance opens, not only in your wallet, but in your breath, your flow, your ease. This number also connects with the liver and the body's natural detox systems, where we process not just food, but emotions, energy, and tension. If you've been feeling sluggish, foggy, or easily irritated, your body may be asking for less pressure and more simplicity. Start gently. A cup of warm lemon water, a deep breath that clears more than air. Care for your body with routines that restore, not punish. Begin your mornings not with urgency, but with quiet rituals that center you. Even this sends a clear signal to your nervous system. We are no longer surviving. We are choosing to live in flow. And in doing so, you shift from lack into trust, from over-effort into spaciousness, wealth, new ideas, supportive people. They don't go only to those working the hardest. They arrive where space has been made for them to land and stay. The vibration of 18 reminds us that closure isn't the end. It's the act of letting a door close softly without fear. And when it's closed with grace, another opens, not to repeat the past, but to welcome who you've quietly grown into. So today, ask yourself with care, what am I still gripping simply because starting fresh feels uncertain? And what could be waiting if I believe that releasing is not giving up, it's making room? Because no one needs to hand you abundance. You just need to become the kind of home it wants to return to. And as we now move into the gentle unfolding of 03 and the awakening energy of 19, something begins to shift, quiet but deeply rooted in promise. These aren't the kinds of numbers that shout for your attention. They come quietly like soft winds through open windows, inviting you to pause, speak, and more than anything, to listen. Following the cleansing breath of 18, these numbers feel like fresh air moving gently into the space you've just cleared. And in that space, new inspiration begins to take shape. Number 03 carries the energy of creative expression, open-hearted communication, and surprise blessings. It draws you toward the subtle power of your voice. Not just what you say aloud, but the resonance that lives in your presence. Have you noticed the way people lean closer when your words come from the center of who you are? Not because they are polished, but because they are real. That's what 03 is here to amplify. When you speak with honesty, even when silence feels safer, you open new energetic pathways for possibility to find you. Whether it's through sharing something vulnerable, reaching out to someone you've hesitated to call, or offering gratitude out loud, 03 rewards sincerity in motion. This number suggests that your next emotional or financial shift may come not from more effort, but from aligning more closely with your truth. Someone might see their reflection in your story. Someone could hear your words and feel their heart soften enough to open a door. But none of that happens if your truth stays hidden away. 03 invites you to share, not to impress, but to connect. It also reminds you of the wisdom carried in your physical body. Especially where emotion is concerned, joy, hydration, and lightness are not extras. They are essential. Your nervous system listens to how you treat yourself. When you weave small nourishing practices into your day, drinking water with care, laughing freely, or reading something uplifting, you send your body a clear message. You are safe to thrive. Size doesn't determine impact, frequency does. And joy in its purest form is a frequency that draws blessings toward you. Then comes 19, a number that feels like a subtle reply to everything your spirit has been whispering. If 03 speaks out, 19 is the answer that returns when you least expect it. It carries the energy of timing that's not forced and help that arrives from places you hadn't thought to look. This number often appears when you release control, when you finally stop clinging to how something must unfold and open space for what's truly meant to happen. 19 brings support through hidden channels, unexpected kindness, and the echo of prayers that were never forgotten. You might find help from someone you thought had left your story, or a memory might resurface just when you need the wisdom it carries. You may even notice that something you once longed for is now quietly present, not because you chased it, but because you learned how to receive. In practical terms, 19 encourages clarity. Not the tight grip of control, but the grounded act of naming what matters. Writing down your goals isn't about speeding the process. It's about creating an energetic blueprint that shows the universe you're ready. When you combine this clear vision with deep trust, your energy becomes magnetic. And when you release the need to control every detail, you allow the most graceful path to appear in the body. This number speaks to the weight we carry that doesn't belong to us, especially the emotional weight of caring for others beyond our limits. Chronic worry, over-responsibility, or internal pressure can quietly wear down the immune system. 19 gently asks, what burden are you still carrying that was never yours to keep, and what would it mean to set it down? Not from bitterness, but from love for your own healing. The body begins to recover the moment we stop asking it to bear what depletes us together. 0, 3, and 19 create a quiet dance. One of truth shared and answers received. One leads you to express. The other shows you that your voice has never gone unheard. They remind you that the universe listens not just to what you say, but to what you feel when you say it. And most often it responds in the hush that follows your surrender. And now, beloved soul, if you've stayed with me through each unfolding number, let this truth settle in your chest. You are already holding the key to the jackpot, and it isn't just the kind printed on paper. It's the kind that arrives gently through alignment awareness and the steady presence of intention. The 6 sacred numbers we've explored together aren't fantasy or prediction. They are living frequencies. They don't chase after you. They respond to the energy you cultivate. They arrive when you've created the space for them. When your thoughts have cleared, your breath has deepened, and you've chosen to stand fully in your worth, trusting that who you are is already enough. Because real wealth isn't about speed or striving. It's about how rooted you are in the now. You don't have to run toward miracles, approval, or financial gain. What's meant for you will find its way when your energy feels safe, open, and grounded enough to receive it. That's the kind of abundance that stays not fleeting or loud, but quietly enduring beneath the surface. So take a breath and ask yourself gently, which number truly spoke to something inside you? Which one stirred an inner knowing, a memory, or a quiet longing you couldn't quite name? Maybe it wasn't even about the number itself. Maybe it was what it revealed, what it reminded you to remember. Write that number below in the comments, not as a wish, but as a statement of truth. Let the universe hear your voice as you say, I receive the blessing of my soul aligned number. Speak it into motion. Name it and make space for it. This isn't superstition. This is sacred participation. You didn't arrive here by chance. This moment is an unfolding conversation between your soul and the rhythm of divine timing. You are the vessel, the fertile space, the open ground where real change is already taking root. So how will you tend to what was given today? Will you let it drift away, or will you shape it into a living part of your day? Your thoughts, your breath. What gentle step can you take now to honor what has been revealed? If this message sparked something inside you, support this sacred circle by liking the video, subscribing, and sharing it with someone whose spirit needs to hear it. Each like, each comment, each new subscription helps us extend these soul-anchored messages to more hearts. And to you who stayed with me all the way through, I say this with full sincerity. Thank you. Your presence here matters more than you know. May the clarity you hold draw only what's meant for your growth. May the peace within you become the welcome mat for every quiet miracle waiting to arrive. And may each number find its way to you not in urgency, but through perfect timing with perfect purpose at the precise frequency of love. You are ready, and you are already becoming the miracle you once thought you had to wait for.